Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
You guys trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Oh boy. Here we go. 22 hours and 23 minutes until it begins. Until the first Yankees World Series event in 15 years. To tell you, first of all, I took a bunch of days this week to celebrate the moment that was the Juan Soto home run. I watched that at least 100 times a day for about 3-4 days. So I took the week. I took most of the week, but I would say once Wednesday came around, I started to transition into World Series mode. Into World Series or bust mode. And that's when everything started hitting me. The nerves, the excitement, back to nervousness, back to excitement. And it's kind of just been both, and I think that's what you're supposed to feel like entering a World Series. I mean, especially this one. This is going to be, or it has the potential to be, an absolute classic. If you're an older school fan, you know exactly what that means. If you're a newer school fan, well, do your research, because New York, LA, Yankees, Dodgers, there is a history. And there is going to be a documentary about this World Series, and I have a feeling it's going to be an epic one. The two biggest markets in the world going at it, clashing. These were the two number one seeds this season. The Yankees went 94-68. The Dodgers went 98-64. Both won their league. Both won their division. The Yankees had a plus 147 run differential on this season. The Dodgers plus 156. The Dodgers won the only series that they played against the Yankees this year in the Bronx, 2 out of 3. That was also the same series where Juan Soto did not play, and the Yankees ran guys out there like, Jahmai Jones and J.D. Davis. This postseason, the Yankees have gone 7-2, and the Dodgers 7-4. Both have played this entire postseason with home field advantage, which obviously the Dodgers will have in this World Series. This postseason, the Yankees have a plus 11 run differential and the Dodgers a plus 23. So they are the slight favorites if you're into betting, but it's very close. And man, do the Yankees need this, man. The World Series or bust. It's not pennant or bust. They need to win now. I'm excited. Less than 24 hours, man. And the good thing is, it's an easy schedule. Every game is 8 p.m. Every game is on Fox, so perfect. You get home from work just in time. Games 1 and 2 will be in LA Friday, Saturday. Sunday is a travel day. Games 3, 4, 5, if needed, are in the Bronx. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, Halloween, is a travel day. And then if needed, Game 6 and Game 7 are back in LA. That's Friday, November 1st and Saturday, November 2nd. So that's your scheduling. But this is a World Series preview, and we're going to get into it all right now. So let's do it. Let's dive into this thing. We're going to talk, basically just compare some of the units on each of these teams and talk about the odds and everything and what I think is going to happen. And we'll talk about the Yankees' chances at the end. So let's do it. Let's head to our first break. I got to blow my nose because my nose has been running, and hopefully that's not picking up on the mic. But let's get to our first break, and when we get back, we'll start this thing up. Episode 730 of the podcast.
Hey there. Thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Okay. Welcome back to the podcast, episode 730. Doing a Yanks World Series preview. Feels good to say that. That is amazing. One of the first things when I was taking notes on this Dodgers team and scouting them, if you will, that I noticed was they lack left-handed pitchers. And that's excellent news. It's excellent news if you're a Yankees fan. Because the Yankees have struggled versus left-handed pitching all season long, both in the regular season and in the first 2 rounds of the postseason. And they've absolutely mashed right-handed pitching. In the regular season, the Yankees batted .235 with a .387 slug against lefties, which was 18 points lower than their average versus righties and 58 points lower than their slugging percentage versus righties. So they really, really struggle against left-handed pitching, and they really hit righties. There are a ton of Yankee lefty bats, unlike the Mets. So, as good as that Dodgers staff looked against the Mets, that Mets team didn't have a ton of lefties. The Dodgers don't have a single lefty in their rotation, which will be Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Buehler, which we'll talk about. And I believe at most they're going to carry 2 lefties in their bullpen. Anthony Banda is absolutely going to be in there, and Alex Vesia. Anthony Banda is a hard thrower. He throws at a tough arm angle to pick up. He's been a really good arm for them. And Alex Vesia is just coming back from a intercostal injury. I think he threw 3 innings in the LDS, and he got hurt warming up in one of those games. So I think I heard that he's due back. But that's it. That's it for their lefties. So the Yankees have a chance, if they're on their games, to really put up some crooked numbers against Dodger pitching. And there's a stark difference in rotation depth too. You know, like the Yankees, if they absolutely need to, they have 6 starters they can lean on. In Garrett Cole, Clark Schmidt, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, if healthy Nestor Cortez, which it seems like he is, and Marcus Stroman. The Dodgers' rotation is completely banged up. There's no more Tyler Glasnow. There's no more Gavin Stone. There's no more Clayton Kershaw this year. Obviously, they're not getting Ohtani pitching. So they only have 3 starting pitchers. Although, you know, Ohtani, listen, I know Roberts recently said no way. You know, he did say earlier in the season, I think, that there was a chance. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, why would they, if they don't have to show their hand, why would they? This could be their secret weapon. If the Dodgers are in, you know, if it's an elimination game for them, you know, if the series goes deep enough at 6 or 7 and they need him to throw a couple innings out of relief, I'm just saying crazier things have happened. But let's just say for now, like, that's, you know, Glasnow, Stone, Kershaw, Ohtani, that's 4 starting pitchers not going to be pitching for you. So it's Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Buehler. So that means with only 3 starters, they're going to have to bullpen at least one of those games. There's going to be a bullpen game. So if the Yankees bats get to the Dodgers starters early in this series, that is going to be a big swing factor the rest of the way. I mean, the damage that they can do and the tax that they can put on this pitching staff by simply knocking some of these guys out early gives them a huge advantage in this series. And this Dodger rotation is a good rotation, but I think it's hittable. Jack Flaherty is very potent, okay? He's capable of being an ace on any given night. We saw that game 1 of the LCS where he won 7 innings, 2 hits against the Mets. He's got great stuff. You know, he can get swing and miss. You go on his Savant page, it's all red. He had a 3.17 ERA this year. He's also hittable. You know, look what happened to him in Game 5 of the LCS. That was a performance he wanted to forget. And, you know, Flaherty came from Detroit. And ever since going from Detroit to LA, this stuff hasn't been the same. He's been a little more inconsistent. And he likes to go to the breaking ball down in the zone with 2 outs. But he's prone to leaving that slider up in the zone sometimes, and it gets slugged. And the Yankees fare very well against right-handed pitchers who throw fastball curves and sliders. I learned that from John Boy. I was listening to some Talking Yanks earlier. The Yankees like righties who throw a fastball curve slider in their arsenal. And that's who Flaherty is. I think the key for the Yankees against Flaherty tomorrow night, don't miss the fastball when you get it. Because Jack Flaherty is very heavy with the breaking ball. He loves going slider curve. 51% usage. Excuse me. 51% usage with his 2 breaking balls versus 44% usage with his 4-seam fastball, which he likes to elevate. But it's not exactly a hard fastball. So I think the key for the Yankees against Flaherty tomorrow, again, don't miss the fastball when you get it. Yamamoto. I'm assuming he's going to go Game 2. Another guy who's very potent. right? He too is capable of being an ace on any given night. The Yankees know this because he won 7 innings, 2 hits on them in early June. This is a guy with a great pitch mix, 4-seam splitter curve with an occasional cutter, slider, and he'll throw a sinker. But he's mainly 4-split curve. And if he's commanding the splitter, he's a tough pitcher to hit. He's a very incredibly tough pitcher to hit if he's commanding the splitter low in the zone, outside the zone where he wants it. Ton of ground balls. There are going to be a ton of short at-bats if he's got that thing going. And he loves going to that curveball just as much as he likes going to the splitter. He'll attack both righties and lefties with the curve, and he'll attack lefties a whole lot with that splitter. So the splitter is key for Yamamoto. His fastball's not that good. He's got a very hittable fastball. It only sits 95, sometimes 96, but it's very flat. The movement's not amazing. The spin rate's not amazing. The numbers on the fastball aren't that good. He's allowed a 262 average on the fastball this year with a 413 slugging percentage. The Yankees are a great fastball hitting team, especially versus right-handed pitchers. So, he's hittable. His cutter has not been a great pitch for him. He doesn't throw it often, but when he does, it gets hit around. Dave Roberts does have a short leash on Yoshi Yamamoto. I don't think he's thrown more than 5 innings since that Yankee start in early June. So he's not really going to give you length. And then you get to game 3, which is probably going to be Walker Buehler. Who is, listen, he's still very capable. Okay, this postseason, he's had 2 solid starts and 1 bad start. His sweeper, slider, whatever you want to call it, is an excellent pitch for him. He goes to it against righties only. His cutter's a good pitch. He likes going to lefties with the cut fastball. But Walker Buehler is, as we know, very hittable. His stuff is just not what it used to be. The fastball is only sitting 95 now. The numbers on it are very bad this year. 342 batting average against the fastball. 696 opposing slugging percentage against the fastball. The curveball's not really been his friend either. 278 average, 481 slugging. He uses that to lefties a lot. The changeup's not been a great pitch for him. He only goes to lefties with that pitch, obviously, as a right-handed pitcher. But his stuff just doesn't get the same swing and miss. It doesn't get a lot of chase. The bite's not the same. His results have not been the same since pre-Tommy John, 2021. In the last 3 seasons, he's only made 28 starts combined. This year, he went 1-6 with a 5.38. Doesn't go very deep into games. You're probably going to see him go 4 or 5 innings tops if the Yankees don't get to him. So, again, with this Dodger rotation being shallow, if the Yankees get to at least one of those 3 guys, that is a massive, massive win for the remainder of the series. And it's important to note that Dave Roberts is, he's big on analytics, and one of the analytics he's aware of is, we talked about this in the previous series, using the same reliever multiple times in a series is going to start benefiting opposing lineups because you get used to that guy's delivery, the timing, the extension, his pitch mix. So if the Yankees force LA to use their primary weapons early, that is so key. Their bullpen's good too. It's a good bullpen. It might not be the Cleveland bullpen, but it's a good bullpen. It might be a tougher bullpen to hit than, like, we might have a tougher time hitting their pen, I feel like, than they'll have a tougher time hitting against us. I don't think I worded that right. I like their bullpen against us more than I do ours against theirs. Going to a bullpen game, that's not always easy to hit because you're not getting into a rhythm on one guy. You're having to readjust to a different pitcher every inning or 2, right? So that could be tough. The Dodgers have the 4th best relief pitching ERA in baseball this year. Again, Banda is tough. Vesey is solid. But even some of their righties, like their best weapons, I think, in the back end of that pen are Michael Kopech and Blake Trinan. Right? Kopech, he was traded there midseason. This is the guy I wanted. I like him a lot. 1 second here. I think Michael Kopech's got elite stuff. He's got a hard fastball that he uses damn near 80% of the time. He's got great numbers on the slider, on the cutter. Throws a hard cutter. Slider a little less on it, but it's a great pitch. The thing with Kopech is he will walk you. So Yankee batters are very disciplined. They don't swing at junk most of the time. They're good at drawing their walks. Kopech's a guy who will walk you, and he does allow a ton of barrels and a lot of hard contact. Blake Trinan is as elite as it gets when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he is really tough to hit. The traditional numbers are all great. The Savant page is all red. He's got a wipeout slider with a sinker that goes into right-handed hitters. He's a guy who can give you multiple innings. But his cutter, which is his tertiary pitch, is an extremely hittable pitch. He only throws that to lefties, but it's a pitch that is very hittable. So the Yankees should be looking to hit that. But the Yankee bullpen, on the other hand, it's a little more concerning because these are, they kind of found it at the end of the year. But I just worry about a lineup like the Dodgers going up against this bullpen. This is a bullpen that lacks strikeout stuff. It's like you look at the guys in the Yankee bullpen, really only 2 guys you can look at and pick out that will strike you out at a high rate. Right? And that's Luke Weaver and Jay Cousins. And I expect those guys to be used a lot in this World Series. It sucks losing Ian Hamilton because he was another guy who had strikeout stuff. But yeah, it's really like I expect Weaver and Cousins to be big pieces this round in this World Series. Like Clay Holmes has kind of reverted back to being untrustworthy now. I don't know that I trust him. He's a guy who, even when he's right, he puts the ball in play. He allows a lot of, balls to be put in play. Tim Hill, he's been great, but, if the shoe was going to drop, it's this lineup. 88-mile-an-hour two-seamers, the Dodgers might not fail on that as much as Cleveland did. Tommy Kahnle has been good, but, can you throw 48 changeups in a row to the Dodgers? That's a different lineup than Cleveland, than KC. They're going to sit on the changeup. They know that. So I worry a little bit about this bullpen against that lineup. And both of these lineups are very similar in that they are full of star power and they've got depth. The Yankee stars, you got Soto, Judge, Stanton. And then you got your depth, right? Volpe, Torres, Verdugo, Cabrera, Rizzo, Chisholm, Wells. The Dodgers got their stars, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. And then they got their depth. They got Teoscar Hernandez. They got Kiki Hernandez. They got Tommy Edman, Max Muncy, Pages, Will Smith, Chris Taylor. So I think if Freeman is right, the Dodgers have more star power. But if Freeman's still banged up, and he did not look great in the LCS there at the end, it's pretty even, and it might even favor the Yankees in terms of star power. I do think the bottom half of the lineup, the depth for the Dodgers, is much more reliable. Max Muncy is a guy who's consistently year to year provided lefty pop. He's been getting on base a lot recently. Kiki's a guy who is just a pest He's got good history against Cole, against Rodon. You know, he hits in October. Teoscar Hernandez is a great hitter. He mashed in the LDS, but he did struggle in the LCS, although he did go 2 for 4 in Game 6. Tommy Edman just won the LCS MVP. He's been on an absolute tear this entire postseason. And for the Yankees, you know, there's depth there, but like the depth they have, the shoe can always drop. Like Volpe, there was a whole conversation on Volpe for most of the season on if he can hit at the major league level at all. You know, Alex Verdugo, like we all wanted him out for a rookie not long ago. Anthony Rizzo, we were calling him washed, finished, nothing left just months ago. Gleyber Torres, we wanted him out of New York City in the first half of the season. So, like, I feel like there's more of a, like with the Dodgers, there's a higher floor there. Where with the Yankees, it can always come back down to earth. You know, I feel like there's more consistency there with Muncy and Teoscar and Kiki and Edman. I don't know that the Yankee depth has that high floor. So that's what worries me about pitching to that lineup. The Yankees do have a much better lefty-righty balance, so that's going to be more difficult for the Dodgers and Dave Roberts to match up with and go to certain relievers in certain lanes. But listen, if the Yankees want to win this series, I'm going to say what I've been saying. They're going to need a hot Aaron Judge. They got away with it in the first round. I didn't think they were going to get away with it if he sucked again in the second round. And he was better, right? He had a bad LDS, a better LCS. He had his moment. But he needs to be hot in the World Series. It's time Aaron Judge goes out there and really cements himself as a Yankee legend. Because if Aaron Judge does the same thing he's been doing for most of his postseason career in this World Series, it's going to get ugly. The noise, the media is not going to be his friend. If the Yankees want to win the World Series, they're going to need Aaron Judge to be Aaron Judge. The captain's got to be the captain. So you're going to need him hot. You're going to need contributions from the bottom of the order again. It'd be nice if, you know, Jazz or Wells showed a little bit of competence at the plate. You know, Austin Wells was horrible, struggled with the high fastball. You know, he had issues chasing a lot outside the zone. Had some moments, but it was a lot of strikeouts, ground ball double plays. Jazz Chisholm, maybe the warm weather helps him. I don't know. But, I mean, he was getting pitches in the zone and just missing by feet. So, yeah, like you're going to need a healthy Anthony Rizzo. Hopefully he's okay. I didn't love the comments he made. Definitely seems like the fingers are still broken, but, you know, it was just the rest that helped. So hopefully this week off helped him again and he's okay. But they're going to need their depth to hit. And they're going to need a hot Judge. They're going to need to be damn near perfect. You know, they played some sloppy baseball in the first 2 rounds. They're going to need their rotation to be a lot better. There have been a lot of short outings. I know it's a bullpen's game now, but like you're going to need more dominance from at least Cole and Rodon. Right? Now, I you know, both of them haven't been amazing, haven't been terrible. But you're going to need Cole to at least give you 6 or 7. The other guys, we'll see how Boone handles the whole third time through the order thing. But Garrett Cole is going to have to be your ace. Aaron Judge is going to have to be your best bat. That's really what it comes down to. It just boils down to the best needing to be the best. I'm not worried about Soto. I think Stanton will hit. There's going to be a lot of offense, I think. You know, I think the warm weather there in LA is going to help. Judge, Stanton, they're both Cali kids. They love hitting in that ballpark. Both of these teams have potent lineups. Both teams have some questionable pitching, both in the rotation and in the bullpen. But I think there's going to be a lot of offense, although, things don't always go as planned in baseball. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say it's going to be a tough series, and just because I'm a Yankees fan, I'll say Yankees in 7. I've been going back and forth as to who I really think is going to win this World Series. But let's roll with the Yankees in 7. I think it's going to be a classic. But the Yankees are going to have to be on their game. They're going to have to hit well, pitch well, and their fundamentals better be more crisp. Fielding and base running. The base running must be better. They cannot be running themselves into outs again because they're not going to have a rookie shortstop like Rocchio playing, making mistakes out there. They're not going to be dropping balls, and that's not going to be happening in LA. So the Yankees are going to have to be on their game. But folks, that's it. I don't know why the camera's not focused, so if you're watching the YouTube version of the podcast, I apologize for that. But if you're listening, we'll be back in just a minute. We're going to head to break, try to fix this, and then get back and wrap this up with our trivia question. Stay with us here on episode 730 of the podcast. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right. Welcome back to the show, episode 730 of the podcast, 730. Doing a Yanks World Series preview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But let's wrap it up now with our trivia question of the night. All right, this one less of a trivia, more of an opinionated question. Who do you have winning the World Series and why the Yankees? All right. Who do you have winning the World Series and why the Yankees? Folks, that's it. Appreciate it. Episode 730 is in the books. Did a little Yanks World Series preview. And tomorrow night, this thing begins. It is Thursday, 10:10 p.m. Thursday night on the 24th of October. The Yankees are in the World Series, folks. Now they got to go win it. I'll see you on the other side. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.